TV soap news and spoilers say that in the opulent, sprawling world of Beyond the Gates, where secrets simmer beneath the surface of every manicured lawn and glittering chandelier, the tangled web of relationships has reached a boiling point. At the heart of the drama lies Kat, a woman whose fiery spirit and unyielding loyalty have long defined her, now standing at the precipice of heartbreak. The revelation of Tomas and Eva's illicit affair has shattered her world, and as viewers brace for the fallout, the question looms large: will Kat brand Tomas and Eva as her enemies, or will the complexities of love and betrayal blur the lines of vengeance? The stage is set for a confrontation that promises to be as explosive as it is heart-wrenching, and the story unfolding is one of raw emotion, shattered trust, and the desperate search for redemption. The seeds of discord. Kat and Tomas were once the golden couple of Beyond the Gates, their love a beacon of hope in a world rife with deception. Their romance was the kind that inspired envy, passionate, steadfast, and seemingly unbreakable. But beneath the surface, cracks had begun to form, subtle at first, then impossible to ignore. Kat, with her sharp wit and fierce independence, had always been a force to be reckoned with, but even she couldn't foresee the storm brewing on the horizon. The trouble began long before the fateful night at Eva's house. Kat and Tomas had been grappling with issues that festered like untreated wounds, miscommunications, unspoken resentments, and the weight of their own ambitions pulling them in opposite directions. Tomas, with his brooding charm and magnetic presence, had always been a man who commanded attention, but his wandering eye had begun to stray, drawn to the enigmatic allure of Eva, Kat's longtime friend and confidant. Eva, with her porcelain beauty and calculating mind, was no stranger to controversy. Her reputation as a femme fatale preceded her, and whispers of her past dalliances echoed through the gated community. Yet, Kat had always seen her as a sister, a woman who understood the pressures of their high-stakes world. It was this trust that made Chelsea's suggestion all the more poignant. Chelsea, ever the peacemaker, had sensed the growing tension between Kat and Eva and urged Kat to mend the rift. "Go to Eva's house," Chelsea had said, her voice brimming with earnest conviction. "Take her that designer handbag you know she loves. Show her you're willing to move past whatever's come between you." Kat, though skeptical, agreed. The handbag, a sleek, limited edition piece that screamed sophistication, was a peace offering, a gesture meant to bridge the gap that had widened between them. Little did she know, it would become the catalyst for a moment that would change everything. The night that shattered everything. The air was thick with tension as Kat approached Eva's sprawling mansion, the handbag tucked under her arm like a shield. The house, with its towering columns and ivy-draped walls, loomed like a fortress, its grandeur a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing within. Kat's heart pounded as she rang the doorbell, her mind racing with thoughts of reconciliation. She had rehearsed her words, determined to be the bigger person, to extend an olive branch despite the nagging suspicion that something was amiss. Eva greeted her with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Kat, darling," she purred, her voice dripping with a saccharine sweetness that set Kat's nerves on edge. What a surprise. The words were polite, but there was an undercurrent of something darker, something that made Kat's skin prickle. She offered the handbag, her voice steady but laced with vulnerability. "I thought we could talk, Eva. Clear the air." Eva's response was cool, detached. She accepted the gift with a cursory glance, her movements deliberate, almost dismissive. The conversation that followed was stilted, each word a careful dance around the truth neither was willing to confront. Kat tried to be her charming self, cracking jokes and offering compliments, but Eva's aloofness was a wall she couldn't breach. It was as if Eva was guarding a secret, her eyes darting toward the hallway with an almost imperceptible flicker of anxiety. And then, it happened. The sound of footsteps echoed from the back of the house, and Kat's heart stopped as Tomas emerged from the bathroom, a towel slung low around his hips, his signature tattoo, a coiled serpent, glistening under the dim light. Time seemed to freeze as their eyes met, Kat's shock mirrored by the guilt that flashed across Tomas's face. Eva's expression, however, was unreadable, a mask of indifference that only deepened the wound. Kat's world tilted. The handbag slipped from her fingers, forgotten on the polished marble floor. Her voice, when she finally spoke, was a trembling whisper. "Tomas? What are you doing here?" But the answer was written in the air between them, in the way Eva's lips curled into a faint, almost triumphant smile. The betrayal was undeniable, a knife plunged deep into Kat's heart. The crushing blow. Tuesday's teaser images, splashed across every fan forum and social media platform, captured the raw devastation on Kat's face as she stood in Eva's living room, the truth crashing over her like a tidal wave. Her eyes, usually so fierce and defiant, were wide with disbelief, glistening with unshed tears. The caption accompanying the images was stark: "Kat's world crumbles as she faces the ultimate betrayal." Fans of Beyond the Gates knew this was no mere plot twist. This was the kind of moment that could redefine the entire series. The fallout was immediate and cataclysmic. Kat's departure from Eva's house was anything but quiet. Witnesses, nosy neighbors with a penchant for gossip, reported hearing raised voices, the shatter of glass, and the unmistakable sound of Kat's heels storming down the driveway. Whether she caused a full-blown ruckus or simply let her emotions spill over in a torrent of anger and grief, one thing was clear: Kat was broken. The woman who had always held her head high, who had faced every challenge with unrelenting strength, was now a shadow of herself, reeling from the double betrayal of her lover and her friend. Social media buzzed with speculation. Was this the end of Kat and Tomas? The teasers seemed to suggest so, describing the moment as a crushing blow that left Kat devastated. Some fans argued that there was no coming back from this, that the trust between Kat and Tomas had been irreparably shattered. Others held out hope, clinging to the possibility that love could triumph over betrayal. After all, Tomas had always been a man of charisma, capable of talking his way out of any situation. Could he convince Kat to forgive him? Or would he throw Eva under the bus, painting her as the seductress who led him astray? The blame game. In the days that followed, the gated community became a battleground of whispers and accusations. Tomas, ever the smooth operator, was quick to seek Kat out, his eyes filled with a mixture of remorse and desperation. "It wasn't what it looked like," he pleaded, his voice low and urgent as they stood in the shadow of Kat's sleek townhouse. "Eva, she came on to me. I was weak, Kat, but it's you I love. It's always been you." Kat's laughter was bitter, a sound that cut through the air like a blade. "Weak?" she spat, her eyes blazing with a fury that belied the tears streaming down her cheeks. "You think that excuses this? You think I'm going to believe Eva forced you into her bed?" Her words were venomous, each one a dart aimed at the heart of the man she had once trusted implicitly. But beneath the anger, there was pain, raw, unfiltered, and all-consuming. Tomas's excuses fell flat, his usual charm failing him in the face of Kat's righteous indignation. He reached for her, but she recoiled, her body trembling with the effort to hold herself together. "You've made your choice, Tomas," she said, her voice breaking. "And you chose her." But was it really that simple? Eva, for her part, remained maddeningly silent, her social media accounts dark and her appearances at the community's lavish events conspicuously absent. Some speculated that she was lying low, waiting for the storm to pass. Others believed she was reveling in the chaos, her silence a calculated move to let Kat and Tomas tear each other apart. After all, Eva had always been a master manipulator, her beauty a weapon she wielded with surgical precision. The path to vengeance or redemption? As the days turned into weeks, Kat's devastation began to morph into something else, something darker, more dangerous. The woman who had once been defined by her warmth and loyalty was now a force of nature, her pain fueling a determination to reclaim her power. Rumors swirled that she was plotting her next move, whether it was to expose Eva's machinations or to make Tomas pay for his betrayal. The gated community, with its pristine facades and hidden scandals, had never seen a drama quite like this. Some believed Kat would channel her anger into a public confrontation, perhaps at the annual gala where the elite of Beyond the Gates gathered to flaunt their wealth and influence. Others whispered that she was gathering evidence, text messages, security footage, anything that could prove Eva's role in orchestrating the affair. The idea of Kat storming into the gala, a vision in crimson with a dossier of damning proof, sent shivers of anticipation through the fanbase. It would be a moment of pure, unadulterated drama, the kind that Beyond the Gates was known for. But there was another possibility, one that tugged at the heartstrings of even the most cynical viewers. What if Kat chose forgiveness? What if, against all odds, she found a way to rebuild what had been broken? Tomas's pleas had not fallen on entirely deaf ears. In the quiet moments, when the anger subsided and the pain was all that remained, Kat couldn't help but remember the man who had once made her feel like the only woman in the world. Could she find it in herself to give him another chance, or would the specter of Eva's betrayal loom too large? A community divided. The affair had ripple effects far beyond Kat, Tomas, and Eva. Chelsea, who had unwittingly set the stage for the confrontation, was racked with guilt, her attempts to mediate falling flat in the face of Kat's rage. "I thought I was helping," she confessed to a mutual friend, her voice trembling. "I never imagined it would end like this." Her role as the peacemaker had backfired spectacularly, and now she found herself caught in the crossfire, torn between her loyalty to Kat and her lingering affection for Eva. The rest of the community was equally divided. Some rallied behind Kat, declaring her the wronged party who deserved justice. Others sided with Eva, arguing that Kat's domineering personality had driven Tomas into another woman's arms. And then there were those who simply reveled in the drama, their champagne flutes raised as they gossiped about the latest developments at every cocktail party and charity event. The road ahead. As Beyond the Gates barrels toward its next episode, the tension is palpable. Will Kat emerge as a vengeful queen, ready to burn her enemies to the ground? Or will she find a way to rise above the betrayal, proving that her strength lies not in destruction but in resilience? The teasers have promised a showdown that will leave viewers speechless, and with Kat at the center of it all, there's no doubt it will be a spectacle. One thing is certain, the story of Kat, Tomas, and Eva is far from over. In a world where trust is a luxury and betrayal is a currency, the choices they make will reverberate through the gates, reshaping alliances and rewriting destinies. For Kat, the path forward is fraught with peril, but it's also an opportunity to redefine herself, not as a victim, but as a woman who can face even the deepest wounds and come out stronger. What do you think, dear viewers? Will Kat declare war on Tomas and Eva, or will she find a way to heal? One thing is clear, in Beyond the Gates, nothing is ever as it seems, and the drama is only just beginning. Our TV channel Soap News and Spoilers is the place for those who want to know how the Salem story goes, as well as great days of our lives updates and news, so subscribe to our channel to get what you want. Bye-bye.